Good afternoon and welcome to Across the Pitch. We're the soccer show for people who think Dove King was a song off of Abbey Road. This morning, Matt and I had the privilege of chatting with Accrington Stanley right back and midfielder Callum Johnson, and the reason we mentioned Dove King is because, as has been mentioned in our Callum Club series before, the name Callum actually means Dove King, and this is the second interview in our Callum Club series. And what did you think about our chat with Callum there, Matt?
Yeah, man, it was a good conversation. Right back sounds like that's the position he wants to play. Maybe a little spoiler alert. Cool kid, cool guy. And so I think he's going to go on and do some things in his career and make a name for himself at Accrington for the next couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely, and not to give any spoilers away on the interview, but one of the things that really impressed me the most is when we discussed about things that he was working on and how he seems to take into account to improve specific areas of his game, and to me that makes me think he's a guy that's going to go on to bigger, better things in the league.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, well, without further ado, let's welcome Callum Johnson of Accrington Stanley. Good morning or afternoon, depending on what side of the pond you're on. We're here with Callum Johnson of Accrington Stanley. It's an extra special interview we have. We're here to talk to Callum a little bit about the League One season, and welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you for coming on. And Aaron was not able to join us, but we do have Matt on the line with us today. So me and Matt will be talking with Callum a little bit about the season. And we did want to first start off by saying that this is the second interview in our Callum Club series. And Callum, you're now the second Callum to come on our show. And you will now be forever commemorated and immortalized on a page that we're creating in our website for the Callum Club. So do you want to thank the Academy or anything like that?
Yeah, I'll thank everyone. No, but thanks for having me on. Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
We're excited to have you on the show, and the first thing that we wanted to do is congratulate you on a successful season in League One. You came over to Accrington last season and were part of that run up to the League Two title, and then this year you had a real battle down the stretch where you're trying to secure another season in League One, really fighting for those points at the end of the season. So tell us a little bit about what the intensity was like in some of those late games.
Yeah, it was a lot different this season. Obviously, going into games knowing that every 3 points or 1 point can be massive on, especially towards the end of the season, on keeping us up might be the difference. So it was a lot different to last season, but obviously it's all experience, and we've come out the better side of it, and we've managed to stay up. It was tough, a lot tougher than last year, because we almost went into games last year, I'd say, knowing that we were going to win, not even thinking there was a chance of getting beat. So it was a lot harder this season, but we came out of it and we stayed up, and so yeah, it was a successful season, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, for the size of the club and the fact that you guys have by far the lowest budget in the league and even a lower budget than some League Two teams, to be able to come and finish 14th at the table in your first season up, I think that's a huge accomplishment. Now, you originally, you came over to Accrington on a loan from Middlesborough, and that was about midway through last year. Then you decided to, I believe it was 2.5 years you signed on for with Accrington. What did you like about the club that made you decide that you wanted to spend at least the next short part of your career with them?
The football we play, obviously I came on loan first, so I knew what I was sort of signing up for as such, the football, a good manager, a good set of lads, and obviously I came on loan to start with, and I enjoyed winning games and the style of football we play. So that's why I decided to sign.
Yeah, absolutely. It's an exciting style of football, and it really seems to to kind of fit your game. And I know that you play a little bit of midfield, but you've mostly been playing at right back. Which position is your favorite one on the field?
I'd say probably right back now. I'd say if you'd have asked me that question when I first signed, I was playing midfield. I played about 10. I made my debut in midfield. I was played about 10 or 15, I think, games in midfield. And then I moved back to right back, and I think I enjoy right back more now. I sort of feel really comfortable there now. So I'd say right back, yeah.
Right on. Is that something, so for, our listeners out there who maybe have never played at a high level, how tough is that transition from midfield to right back? I mean, you're kind of talking two completely different mindsets, but how easy was it for you?
Yeah, it is tough. But I'd played a few games at right back at Middlesbrough just in the youth games, so I was sort of used to it. But it's very hard against, especially nowadays, you get wingers, especially in League One, really good quality wingers, and it's a lot different, the position. You've got to sort of adjust and do the best you can, and sometimes it might take a few games to do that, but it's a lot different playing right back to playing midfield.
Awesome, man. So you mentioned, part of the reason you wanted to come to Accrington was the manager. And so, of course, you're there playing for John Coleman. What's it like playing for a guy like John Coleman? Some people have called him the football genius.
Yeah, great. Yeah, he's obviously given me my first game when I first started playing proper men's football, and I've learnt a lot from him. I've learnt a lot from all the staff as well. Obviously the gaffer and Jimmy and John, but playing under them's been great. Like everyone says, he obviously gets high praise from everyone for a reason.
Right on, cool, man.
Now, speaking of football legends, your club is owned by a bit of a legendary guy, especially in Accrington, and we consider him to be the best owner in all of sports, and not just because he came on the show with us, but tell us a little bit about Andy Holt. What's it like playing for him?
Yeah, again, great to have Holty around. You always see him around the training ground and around the stadium, and you always have a chat with him, and you feel sort of that close bond with him as if he's part of the club. And I know that chairmans at the bigger clubs are known for not necessarily having that close bond with the players, but it works for Accrington. It works. Holty's a great part of what makes Accrington a good club, and he's great to have around.
Right on, man. So you're 22. Obviously, your career is just getting started, and you're at a team with a number of veteran players. So who are some of those guys, some of the veterans on the team that have kind of helped you out the most at this beginning of your career? Who are some of those dressing room presence that have really kind of taken you under their wing and showed you the ropes?
Yeah, we've got a few. We've got a few experienced players, obviously. Scott Brown was one of the first who I remember when I first came and I was playing in midfield.
Scott's our main man. He was the first guy that ever came on the show.
Yeah, he said I was fast. Spoke to him. He said, but I actually made my debut in centre midfield with Scotty, and he helped me a lot when I was playing in midfield. So I'd say Scotty and Mark Hughes as well. I played next to him. Mark Hughes has been obviously playing centre back, and he's helped me as well. But all the experienced lads are really good to sort of pick up little bits off.
That's cool.
Now, another thing that you guys have going on there is the new pitches being installed, and I know you talked about the style of football that you guys like to play up there, and how that's one of the things you like, and I think the new pitch is going to help with that, so are you excited for that?
Yeah, I'm not sure it's going to get finished for pre-season, though. I haven't heard, I think some of our games that got announced yesterday are away, but yeah, the pitch, obviously, at the start of the season when the pitch was nice, it was lovely to play on the nice pitch, but we had to just deal with what we had, and it obviously wasn't great, but it'd be nice next season to have to play on a nice pitch, hopefully.
I think having a fast pitch will certainly be something that suits your game. And one of the things that I think is really a key for you is because you do have that experience with the midfield, is you have that vision for watching a lot of Accrington games myself. I noticed that you're good at making that quick outlet pass. Say you gather a ball back on your side of the field. You're immediately advancing the ball forward. I also saw at one point during the season, you were actually actually leading League One in crosses into the box. So that's a big part of your game. And what types of things are you looking at working on going into the next season to take your game to that next level?
Yeah, I think my strengths and my weaknesses. I think I'll always try and improve all parts of my game. To be fair, to just keep improving as much as I can, both attacking and defensively. Big parts of fullback's game are crosses, like you say, and helping the winger out, and then defensively, obviously, defending 1v1 and heading. So just everything all round to just keep improving and kick on as much as I can.
One of the things that I noticed that, it's very clear that you're working on every aspect of your game is in 2017-18, you had 7 yellow cards, and last year you cut that down to where you only had 3, and you actually had 10 more appearances as well. So was that something that you had focused on going into last season, was trying to cut down on the cards and the bookings?
Yeah, I was. I think I was on 7 with about 10 games to go at the end of last season. Obviously, it was looking like we were going to go up, and I was just thinking, whatever you do not get banned and miss a massive game where we can go up. But I think it was a bit of a lack of experience from last season. Not last season, season before. Obviously, it was my first season, and I wanted to win every ball. And sometimes nowadays, wingers and forward players, they'd rather take a foul than actually have the ball and try and get past you. So I think I learnt that this season, and I got less yellow cards because of it. I think with a bit more experience.
I think that really shows that, like we've talked about, you're only 22 and you have your whole career ahead of you, and just working on something like that every season is something that we look at and think that you're really going to be a star player in the league going forward. Now, one of the things I'm sure that you would like to talk about is your goal that you had back in 2018 against Forest Green. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I don't know if you've seen it. There's a bit of debate going on with Jimmy Dunn. Well, it was at the time. Jimmy Dunn, he thinks he got the last touch on it, but I think if you ask him to tell the truth, I think he'll tell you it was me.
That's awesome. So a little bit of argument still going on, huh?
Yeah, just a bit. I still talk to Jimmy. He's obviously at Sunderland now on loan, but just a bit of crack at the time. He thought it was him, but I'm sure I got the last touch onto it.
There you go. And that was your first professional goal, right?
Yeah, it was. And my only one, to be fair. I need that's something that I can improve on. I want to try and get more goals if I can.
Yeah. Especially, I've always had a heart for the kind of the right back and the left back that can get forward and put in a good shot and score some goals. So that's hopefully something you can improve upon. We're going to be excited to see in the future maybe score some more goals from that position. Yeah. So growing up, I mean, you played at Middlesborough. You came up through their youth academy. That's your hometown team? Was that your favorite team? Or have you always been a Middlesbrough supporter? Or was there another team out there that you kind of gravitated towards?
Yeah, I was a Borough fan. I was a Middlesbrough fan when I was growing up. I did obviously as well like to watch the big teams, like I suppose every kid does.
Yeah.
I liked Barcelona when it was sort of Messi, Iniesta, Xavi, Ronaldinho. I sort of liked that era. I liked watching them when they were the best team in the world.
Yeah, right.
But in England, I didn't really have one that I liked over any other. I was a proper Borough fan when I was younger.
Good. And so, did you have any favorite players growing up? Guys you looked up to, saying, "I want to be like this guy or this guy."
I did, yeah. A Brazilian called Juninho, who played for Middlesbrough, was my main one. He was a little number 10. He was real good player. And then I liked Steven Gerrard as well for Liverpool. I'd say them two were probably my favourites when I was younger.
Oh, awesome, man. Yeah, Steven Gerrard. Okay, cool. That's awesome. Good.
Like we mentioned earlier, we're Accrington supporters over here in the United States, and we're actually kind of a growing bunch. You'd be surprised how many of us over in Phoenix are starting to follow Accrington. So if you had a message that you wanted to give to American fans about the club, what would that be?
I'd say that everything that you hear is true about how close everyone is, how it's such a good community club, the way it's run. I'd say everything that's out there about the club and how closely knit everything is. I'd say that it's true.
That's what we've found, and that's what's really drawn us to the team. Because when we started out with the show, we already were Accrington supporters, but it was once we started knowing the community and talking with the supporters and players like yourself and Scott, who you mentioned earlier, and we had Andy on the show, and of course Darren Woodhead, who is working on a book about you guys right now, and he actually is a part of our team over here. Yeah, I mean it's just a historic club that just has so much history, and Now, what would you say would be your plans for your career going forward? What goals do you have for yourself for your career, and then maybe even after your playing days, do you hope to go into coaching one day? What are your future plans?
I'd say from the minute I started my career, well, even before I started my career, I had two goals that I set myself. The first one was to play as many games as I can. As many games as I possibly can, and then which will probably mean going on until I can't go any longer. And my second one is to play as high as I possibly can, play at the highest standard that I can possibly play at. I think that's my main goal. After my career, I've thought about it briefly. I think I think I'll still want to stay in the game, sort of, whether it be the coaching side or the coaching side or the punditry side or something like that. But I think I will want to stay in the game. I haven't really thought about it yet too much. I think I've got another few years left before I have to start thinking about that.
Oh yeah, you're still very early in your career, and it sounds like football is in your blood, though, and that's what we love to hear. Is especially what you just said about that you want to play as many games as you can, and that's what we love about following all the leagues and especially teams like Accrington. Is that you guys are out there playing for the love of the game, and we can just tell by talking to you that you're a guy that loves the game.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, we do have one listener question that was sent in to us, and this is from Tony Robinson, and Tony is actually an Accrington supporter who is originally from Accrington and now lives in Canada and also spends some time in the United States. I believe he told me that his supporters club card number is something like 13. So this guy has been supporting the team for a long time. And Tony wanted us to ask you, if you could pick the team, who would be the first player on your game sheet and why?
Oh, that's a good question. You're not allowed to say yourself.
Well, he didn't say that, but I think that's a great answer. I actually like that answer. And
that'll be one way of playing as many games as I can.
Let's maybe change that a little bit and say that if you were starting a team and you could pick any player in the world to start a team with, who would you pick?
I'd say Messi. I didn't know if the question was about Accrington or every player in the world. I thought it was about Accrington, but if it's about every player in the world, I'll say I'd say Messi.
Messi.
So
I was hoping you were going to say yourself again.
I can't be that confident.
Is Messi the GOAT?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I would agree with you on that one.
Although I'm obviously too young to know the sort of. I've seen clips of people like Maradona, Pele, George Best, everyone. I suppose everyone from whatever era they're from sort of thinks that player from their era is the best ever.
Yeah.
It's hard to compare over the times because of how much the game's changed, but Messi's the best of my era, so.
Right.
I'll say Messi, yeah.
Nice.
Well, yeah, it's hard to argue with the guy. He's won, five Ballon d'Ors? So.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we do have a couple of kind of silly questions that we like to ask, and like we mentioned at the beginning of the show, that you're the second Callum that we're interviewing for our Callum Club. And just to give a little background on that is one of the things is, as an American show, it's a little bit unique, is that in America nobody is named Callum. And certainly we've noticed that there's quite a number of footballers that are named Callum, and in fact I believe over 50% of all famous Callums listed on Wikipedia are footballers. So we started to wonder if there's some kind of a correlation, and if you felt that your name Callum gives you any special advantages as a footballer.
I can't really say no with that fact. I didn't know that. It sounds a lot of footballers. Yeah, when you think about it, I'm thinking of quite a few coming to my mind. I hope it does. I wish it did. I wish it did give me special advantages, but I don't think it does though.
Maybe it does, because like you said, I mean, there just seems to be on every team, it seems like there's a Callum.
Yeah.
Now this is something that you may or may not already know about your name, is that it's Scottish in origin, and the meaning of Callum is Dove King. While you may not get any special football powers from it, do you feel any special connection with doves? Do you, for instance, carry around a small plastic bag with little pieces of bread in it, or anything like that?
No, I didn't actually know that fact. No, no, I don't. No, I don't.
Oh, you're a good sport for answering that one. We really, really appreciate you coming on the show, and we expect to see another great season out of you next year at Accrington. And did you have anything else that you wanted to tell the listeners here today?
No, that's it. Just thanks for having me, and thanks for listening. I appreciate you inviting me on the show, and I hope it goes well. And like you say, I hope next season's a good one as well.
Hopefully we'll have you on the show again next season. Maybe we'll check on you during the season next year, and And we wish you luck with that goal-scoring goal, and hopefully, when you put the onion in the bag next year, there's going to be nobody cheering louder than us over here in Arizona.
Yeah, I hope so. Thanks.
Absolutely.
Take it easy, Callum. Thanks for coming on, man.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great one.